Hi everyone, today on Hello Susan we're going to do an assemblage, and if you'll stick around to the end of the video, I have made 7 or 8 of these already and I want to show them to you. It's just so you can see all the different ones that I came up with, and it'll just get you inspired to do some too. So what I'm going to use is this shaker dome. It's 4 inches and it sticks up maybe 1/4 of an inch. So I feel like this can go inside a journal as well as on the outside of a journal. I think it can fit in a pocket just fine. So that's what we're going to use to create the, we're going to put the assemblage together and put that on top of it. And I'm using millinery flowers, appliques, net, trim, a little bow to hang it with, and I got this little pin from Temu. Well, I don't know if it's ever going to focus. Let me put it down. I think you see it better. It's just a little metal bird that's a barn swallow, and I think I paid $1.28, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but this is the applique that I have been using, and I got this from Temu too. And it was $3.98 for this piece, and then I just cut it. Like you can see, I cut it in pieces. And what I do on the back is I put glue all over where all the little threads are, because they're not tied off. So if one was to get cut, I think the beads and stuff would start coming off. And I bought it for the beads and the sequins too. So I don't want that to happen. Then I just let it air dry. And then when I cut it apart, I don't have to worry about that. So I just wanted to show that to you. Let me put that out of the way. Okay, so what we do is I took a cereal box as a base, and I took the dome and I put it on the cereal box, and then I drew around it, but I extended it maybe 1/8 of an inch. So I made it just a little bit bigger. And then I took some papers that I like, and I do the best images on the back, and I do this one on the front because you're not going to see it with all that. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to put this together real quick. Well, get my glue started. There you go. We're going to put this together real quick. You're going to see how fast and easy these are to do. I do feel like you need to have this insert between the two. Even though I printed mine on cardstock, I didn't feel like that was stiff enough for me. And then you just center it on there. And mine is not exactly going perfect on that round. And don't worry about that. We've got this trim that we're going to trim it out, and it'll cover up any of those mistakes. See how you can see the little white showing there? Okay. I got this idea on Creative Girl Vintage, I believe is her name. She was using something different for her domes, but they were not available on Amazon at the time. So this is what I chose to buy. Okay, this is the back. No, this is the front. And I think I want the flowers at the top. So I want to make sure that this image is going to go like this, because that'll be on the top in the back. Okay, so you can see that it's got a little bit of sticking out there. So don't worry about that. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this net on. You know how I love my net. I just think it just gives it another layer, and it just really makes it look good to me. So it's up to you. You can use it or not use it. And just lay that on there. And I just kept them in squares, and I can trim them up in a minute. So this one, we'll do the same thing. And it doesn't matter where you put the glue on this one, because we're going to cover it up with all this other pretty stuff. These are so fun, you guys. I just love them. And they're so pretty. I couldn't stop. And then I started thinking, well, what am I going to do with all of these? And then it made me start thinking about Christmas and thinking, oh, Christmas ornaments, but you know, this is going to be pretty just hanging in your craft room, in your bathroom, bedroom, hanging from a lamp, you know, where you turn it on, just hang one there. Okay, let me make sure I'm doing this way. Okay, so what I want to do is I've got to put this applique on, and the bird, and the millinery flowers. And as you can see, nothing is flat, except for probably the applique. But I kind of got this thought out, and I'm thinking that bird is pretty flat. So what you want to do is you kind of dry fit it the way you think you want it. And then just get it in the center, because the dome gets smaller and smaller towards the edges. And then I just put it on there and I push it down and see if that's going to work. And it looks like I need to move the bird over just a little bit. Okay, now let's see what that does. Okay, that's going to work. And see, then you push that down on there. And I know the lights are making it look too shiny, so just be patient with me. Let me get it glued together, and then I don't want to move everything, so I'm just going to start putting a bunch of stuff, glue right there. Stick it in. We'll move that bird. I'll have to just rethink that again. And I'll hold it up to the light so that we get closer so you can, well, that didn't stick down. Okay. Just don't want to have everything around where the edges where your dome is going to go. Okay, and let's get this little bird. Let's see. It had one of those things, you know, like a where it just has one little round thing that holds it onto a post. That's what kind of back was on it, but I clipped that off. Okay, let me try the test the dome again. Now the flowers will flatten out. It's just that you got to make sure that whatever else you're putting in there flattens out too. Okay, so that's perfect. Let's give it a chance to let me scoot in. That's as close as it's going to go, so that gives you a better look at it. Isn't it cute? Okay. Now, you can attach your bow before you put the trim and stuff on, or you can put it afterwards. I'm going to do this one before, but I'm just waiting for all of this to kind of stick before I put that dome on, because I don't want it to, let me get the dome on and then it falls down. Okay, it looks like it's sticking pretty good. All right, so now this dome has a protective cover on the outside. The inside does not. So I just always use my fingers and just kind of make sure I get any dust particles or fabric, lint, or anything off. And then just use your fingernail, or if you have a special tool you want to use, that's fine. It's got a protective film on it so that it doesn't get scratched up before you use it. And see just how easy that is to get off. And look how shiny it gets. You thought it was shiny before, but all of a sudden it gets shinier. Okay, now this has got a little bit sticky. And I think if you were doing it on paper, it would stick. But because we're putting it on fabric, I'm just going to go ahead and go around the edge and put a little bit of glue And remember, we made it just a little bit bigger than this circle, so I'm not going right on the edge. I'm just going in just a little bit where I think that this is going to be. Let me pick it up. And squeeze it down. I just love it. See, look, if I come up closer, oh, those lights. But if I turn the lights out, you wouldn't be able to see it all. Let me get some clamps. You know, when I'm making these in my chair, watching TV, I don't have to really worry about that. I could just sit there and hold it and everything. But this way, while it's drying, I can be clamping it down. Then we'll trim that, we'll trim that netting so it's not so wild. I love these little clamps. If you haven't watched me before and you haven't seen these clamps come from Dollar Tree. They've got little silicone on them, which makes them not stick. I really, really enjoy using them. Okay, we'll let that just set up just for a little bit, not too long. So what have y'all been up to? I've been working on little projects. Just got through with that October Halloween one, and that was fun, wasn't it? And that's the first time I used a shaker card dome, and it was the 2 3/4 one, whereas this is the one that's a little bit bigger. It's 4 inches, remember, and I did get it on Amazon. Okay, let's see. That looks good. See how quick that Fabri-Tac dries? And then by having those clamps, it just helps hold it in place for you all over instead of just wherever your hands can go. Okay, let me get my scissors, and I want to just trim this up just a little bit. I want it there. I just don't want it that wild. And I don't want it perfect. I want it to look raggedy. Okay. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure we're lined up to the front. And I'm going to attach my little bow ribbon that I made. All right. So what I do is I just decide, you know, like 1 o'clock and 11 o'clock is what I do. And I just put a little dollop of glue there and a little dollop of glue there. You want to make sure that you don't get glue on your dome. It will come off, but you know what? If you can keep from doing it in the first place, I would suggest doing that. Okay, so that's our little hanger. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this trim on. And this is a GIMP trim. I do glue my edges right here and right here. See how it unravels so fast? So let's start with this end. And I'm going to have to pick this up so I can see it a little bit better. And I just go ahead and put glue on the dome and the cardboard. That's why I made it just a little bit bigger so that it could adhere to more than just the dome. Whoops. I pulled that netting too tight right there, I think. Okay. So we're going to start right here. And this is 4/8. So it's not 3/8. 3/8 is a little bit less. It's not quite a 1/2 inch. Even though 4/8 sounds like a 1/2 inch. This is not a 1/2 inch. GIMP. It's, I don't know. I know it's not 5/8, it's not a 1/2 inch, but look how that just dresses that up so good. Okay, let's put some more glue. It's not 3/8. I've got 3/8 and it's smaller than this. And I've got 5/8 and it's bigger than this. So that's why I keep saying 4/8, even though that sounds like a 1/2 inch. I think a 1/2 inch would work. This is just what I have. And see, by putting those little trim pieces on for the hanger on first, then it gets hidden. But I'll show you later. It does have, I have some where it's on top of the GIMP and it looks just as pretty. Isn't this fast? Okay, so I'm gonna have to trim that. And I just look at it and make sure that it looks pretty round. I don't want it to be all wobbly looking. And with Fabri-Tac, you do have a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, let me cut that off. And put some glue right there. And then if you're going to glue this in a book or glue it on a cover or something, you really don't have to do half the stuff I did to the back. It's just that if I'm going to hang it as an ornament, I would like the back to look just as pretty as the front. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, let's put it like this, glue on the back one. And then we're done. And then remember, I'm going to show you all the other ones that I made. I have made probably 8 already, and they're all different. Not one of them is the same. Okay. See if I can put glue on all of that right now. And spoiler alert, I think I'm going to make these for Christmas gifts for my family. I've got some ideas. I got to go shopping though, because I have all these millinery flowers, but they're not Christmassy. So I have to go looking for flowers and stuff to see what I can find. But it'd be the same theme. And I did make one already using some paper poinsettias that I had bought at Hobby Lobby. And I'll show you that one too. Whoops. Okay. Now, let me make sure it's not going square in any place. And it's not. Move that out of the way. Okay, so let me show you. Oh, I'm trying to get away from that ring light. I just can't. I'm sorry. Okay, but you can see the millinery flower, you see the little bird, you see the applique and the GIMP trim, and then you see the netting poking out. I guess you could even cut all the netting off and just have it on the inside if you want to. But I do feel like it gives it, you know, some texture and layer on, even on the back. Okay, so I'll be right back. I'm going to get all those out that I made so you can see them. Okay. Okay, I'm back, and here are all the ones that I have been making. Oh, they are so much fun, and it's addictive, but I just love them. And I know that the lights are really shining on them bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to raise each one and see if we can get past those lights a little bit so you can see what it is. So as you can see, it's got a bird, and it's got millinery flower, an applique, and some beaded leaves. And I got this little pin, the bird pin. I got that on Temu for I think $1.48, something like that. But isn't that cute? And you can see the net, and that's the back. Okay, let's see this one. This one's got a little teapot, and it says handmade is heart made. And it's got some millinery flowers and some applique. I just love them. I just can't stand it. Okay, and this one's got applique and a piece of vintage jewelry and some millinery flowers, and it's got a little bit of different trim right there, more of a pleated trim. And then that's the back. Okay, here's one with the butterfly, and it's got a millinery flower. They all have millinery flowers. That's my theme. And then some applique and a butterfly, and then on the butterfly I glued some vintage purple stones. You can't really tell in this, but they are a darker purple. I made a pink one thinking, okay, but guess what? I like the other ones better, but I wanted to show it because my taste doesn't have to be your taste. So it's got the millinery flowers, applique. It's got an earring in it. You can barely see it. It's right there. And I put pink trim, and of course the background is pink, and then this is what the back looks like. I think it's still very pretty. And I put a hanger on most of mine. You can use the hanger or not use the hanger. It's up to you. I think that these could be glued. They're only 1/4 of an inch tall. I think they could be glued on the front or even put in pockets inside your journals. Look at this one. This is kind of like my favorite one, I think. It's got the millinery flower with the turquoise stamens, and then a few more millinery flowers, then a piece of a necklace and an applique, and then the back has flowers. Okay, here's another one. Like I tell you, I couldn't stop. Oh, I'm going to make a bunch of Christmas ones, I think. So this is millinery flowers, and there's the little second earring to that first one, and then it's got an applique, and then that's what it looks like on the back. It's got a little bit different trim. I like this one. I like the netting. I think it makes it look a little bit more vintage. So this one actually says vintage, and it's got blue millinery flowers. It's got a little bird nest with pearls glued in it, and an applique, and then a word that says vintage. And then it's got that pleated trim too. And then I put a little hanger on it. Now here's the first Christmas one I've made. Hope that'll get you inspired for Christmas. See, so I put green velvet for the, because I'm thinking you could put these on trees as decorations. Okay, so I bought this little brooch. It's a dove, and it's got rhinestones for the berries, and it's got holly. And I got that at Temu for, I don't know, maybe $1.98, something like that. And then these are the paper, oh, let's do this finger. This is the paper poinsettias from Hobby Lobby. And then there's the applique. And then here's some more paper flowers that are smaller. They're poinsettias. And then this is the back. So it looks very vintagey. Don't you love it? Okay, well that's it for me today. See you next time. Bye-bye.